Chapter 22, The Angelica Touch by Lindsay J. Sedgwick. Well, says Grace. 4 men, I say, have contacted. I cross my fingers behind my back. Grace thinks checking up on Mum's account would be wrong. So I haven't told her. Mainly because there's nothing to tell. Mum logs on, roots around a bit and logs off. 2, I say, are cute. Not that I'd know, of course. Grace squints at me. Then at Tariq, who still hasn't noticed her new hairdo, and back at me. Has she contacted them back? Nope. Grace's new hairdo is painful to sleep in and may not last long. Perhaps that's why she chooses now to lecture me on Dylan. At least he's down the front of the bus, so he won't overhear, even if Denise is sat in beside him. I don't get it, she says. You have a chance to date the most divine salamander, my own Tariq excluded. He's not your Tariq, I say. Irrelevant, she says. He will be. You should be listening to soft music with Dylan or going for long, slow walks in places where the oxygen is in slow supply. Because you two belong together, though he is, she adds, in case my head gets way too big, way cooler than you. By his newness to Drishog alone. Thanks, I say. Thump. There's not much space, so it's a feeble one. They're definitely getting weaker, I say. She ignores me. He's hot, you're cool. Okay. Majorly cool sometimes, and I might only be saying that because I'm your bestie, but while he's pining for you, it's okay. Everyone knows. Nobody gets it, by the way. You have transformed him into some sort of tragic, romantic hero, and all the girls are starting to notice that he's hot. We're waiting, I say. He understands. Grace takes a deep breath and turns to face me, as if I were an infant in need of direction to the loo. Denise has been trying to sit beside him for days, and now she has. Fortunately for you, Dylan hasn't even noticed, whereas if you were to ask him to dress like Lady Gaga or yodel Galway Girl backwards, he would. I don't want to peek too soon, I say quietly. 4 days and counting. That's all. Wait till you see this. Simon is skittish with excitement. Our first paying ad. Down the sidebar, flashing little red lights, is an ad for the Pirate Queen Bar, where love stories begin. Grace goes pale. That's our pub. Simon grins. Cool, isn't it? No, this is terrible, says Grace. She must know we're involved. Relax, he says. It was all done through the site, legitimately paid for by PayPal. You sure she doesn't know, says Grace. Blind date weekends, I read. You've tried online, you've tried your best friend's slightly odd array of cousins. Now try residential matchmaking in romantic Drishog, perched on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Gross, says Grace. You teens have no sense of romance, says Simon. It's not that romantic, says Dylan, looking out at the rain. I give him a look to tell him I'm finding it hard too. For 5 days now, Mum has declined every match the site has suggested. Seriously, guys. Guys? This could be the start of something huge, he says. Say these weekends of hers take off. We could have tourists choosing to come to Drishog, which is good for the town, good for business. There might even be coffee aficionados willing to fall for yours truly. He blushes and changes the subject back to the site. It shows we are a viable site worth putting ads on. Advertising revenue would allow us to cover our costs, even pay ourselves something down the line, and it increases the number of hits we're likely to get. Which wasn't exactly our goal. Simon doesn't know that. Grace manages a nod, but Simon is not letting her away with that. I think it's awesome, he says, that your mum is giving something back. Drishog could do with some help. I guess, says Grace, mellowing or blown aside by Simon's enthusiasm. I'm still trying to introduce him to our new chef, only I had it all figured out. I would invite him on a walking tour of the town, we'd wind up in Simon's cafe for a coffee, and I'd suddenly remember an urgent errand back at the hotel and disappear. But it's impossible. Mum never leaves me alone with him. It's as if she's protecting Oni from me, lest he fall in love with someone and run away. She doesn't understand it. If Oni falls in love with Simon, he's more likely to stay, because Simon lives in Drishog. And I was right about the moustache. He's got the sort of moustache you see on photos of Victorian weightlifters. We should do one for the hotel too, says Simon. I could drop your mum an email, say I've just come across this site. You can't, says I. She'd suspect something. Chris has hidden the boxes of decorations upstairs with the Halloween and Christmas gear. He still thinks Mum will come around. It's a good time to borrow the power drill. You won't do anything silly with it, he says. All I know is that it has to be the power drill because Guppy wants to drill in a place that doesn't have a socket nearby. She won't tell me any more than that. Oh, I said I'd hang a few pictures for Guppy, I say, innocent as light. But I can do that. I cradle the drill. It's important I learn to do these things for myself. Chris has said this to Mum about me learning to plaster or tile or unblock a sink, so he has to agree. When I hand the drill to Guppy, I repeat Chris's warning, and she reminds me to dig out Mum's Granuela dress for the weekend after next. I'll be serving lunch in it. For some reason she won't disclose. Now she has me keeping secrets from everyone, even from myself, since I don't know what I'm being roped into. Maybe it's a new association for half-daft, drill-wielding, gross-growing women of a certain age. Grass-growing women of a certain age. Which I have to admit would make an interesting alternative to watching Mum tiptoe around the site like a ghoul in wellies stomping on hope. I'm not worried. Mum's a grown-up. She hates to lose. She'll see it through until she meets someone. Hopefully soon. My job on Saturday week is to provide colour and sandwiches, says Guppy. What is it with adults in Drashog? All for the good of the hotel, she says. Karma, thinks I. And boy, do I need karma. That patch of grass the other day. Guppy, what's it meant to be? She grins and tries out the drill in the air. If you put her in khaki, you'd think she was a freedom fighter. You know how Queen Maeve tested her soldiers in bed, says Guppy, to see if they were good enough for the army? No, not really. Guppy sighs. It utterly confuses her that our education system doesn't include such facts. Well, if they didn't impress her, she reputedly had them killed, and now found the spot she used to test them in. Right there, here in Drashog. Isn't that remarkable, she adds with a grin and a wink. I'm calling it the Labadrouche, or bed of passion. Guppy, what are you up to? Saving the hotel with myth and legend, love and lore. Your mother has done wonders now. It's time for me to be more inventive. How long will this drill last if I charge it up overnight? Maybe it's not for her, says Grace. Cross-legged opposite me at the end of her bed, her hand is flying across the sketchpad far too fast for the result to be flattering. Are you drawing me as a rabbit again, I say? We could put up something on the homepage that says weirdos, psychos and morticians back off. Angelica's mum is not interested. Brad Pitt, sorry, but you're wasting your time. I smile crookedly. Sounds about right. Have you tried reverse psychology? It works with my mum. So you've told your mum you're really fond of Marcus and hope he becomes your new dad? Last night, she says, before I went to bed. When I came down for breakfast, she was cancelling dinner with him tonight. The last few lines she drew looked like rabbit ears from here. Either that or she's drawing me as a water buffalo with pigtails. You could try with your mum. What type does she want anyway? Oh, I say, hotel managers, surfers and romantic clowns who believe babies can be born with wings. Okay, says Grace, you go home tonight. Repeat over and over how you hope she'll never go near any of them. And bingo she will, but skip the clowns. You do not want a clown in your life, believe me. Grace has a fantastic cache of stories about the men her mum has sort of introduced her to over muesli and toast. Put it this way, she says, last time the clown stayed over, I went to school hungry. Speaking of which, any chocolate, Grace? It's a safe question. Grace always has chocolate. It's one of the many things I love about her. She digs out an enormous bar. I'm guessing it's a gift from Marcus because the Christmas stash is long gone. Normally she's super protective of her giant bars, hoarding them for bait or reward. Go on, I say. Well, he turned my toast into a balloon, my milk into a cauldron of blood, and my muesli into a rabbit, white, big ears, no watch, that bit my finger. Is that why you hate rabbits, I say? It's why I hate clowns. Grace puts the charcoal down and turns the pad around. Okay, so I'm not a rabbit or a water buffalo. I'm a saber-toothed munchkin. We should have a sleepover, she says. We should get this maths done. Have you any idea what Looney O'Lunny wants? Apart from being headbutted by a stagnant pond into a gazebo, says Grace. I think you mean gazelle. No, gazebo. Do you mean the animal that looks like a deer, has 4 legs and horns, or a wooden structure in the garden for cocktail suppers? Though I do like the idea of a gazebo charging across a lawn, aiming for Olenny's broadside. Reverse psychology wouldn't work on Mum, I say. She'd only think I was validating an opinion she already has. She'd probably drop the site altogether. Come on, maths. And that's us done until it's witching hour. Kitty drops me home because it's dark and stormy out. Thinking I'm sad, Mum decides we should have one of our evenings and wrestles me from my room. You spend far too much time on that computer. Are you still doing your stretches? It's not good for you being scrunched over, not with your shoulders. I have a winged scapula, you see. It's why I hate the photo of me with the whale. I look like a hunchback. Yes, and yes. After toasting marshmallows and making s'mores, she gets all soppy over dirty dancing. See, she's getting in the mood. Any day now she'll respond to someone. I've been in Simon's for an hour when Dylan pulls a chair in next to mine. How's it going, he says. He smells of seawater, which is nice. I pull up Mum's statistics book for him to see. Number of dates? None. Number of ongoing conversations? None. What if we focus on places where your mum's sort of man might hang, he says, passing me a printout of blogs, chat rooms and forums for people who love windsurfing, bodyboarding and other water sports. If we could get on these sites and casually talk about the dating site, who knows? You are amazing. He blushes, that lovely shellfish pink, and goes all focused so I know he's embarrassed. But happy too, because he's smiling. What are her other interests, I say? Casablanca. She loves Casablanca and Wales and acting and music and marshmallows. Brilliant, he grins. There's bound to be forums for people who love old films and plays and marshmallows. I'm already on some for the people who love Wales, so that's easy. I drift away, watching his lips move. There's this feeling in my stomach that's warm and fuzzy and totally overpowering. What about good food, he says. Didn't she start the restaurant at the hotel? Yep, I say. And dancing. She loves dancing. My fella, okay, my someday fella, is utterly wonderful. Within days, numbers are rising. As for me, time to do what I do best. To be continued.